My name is Jongcap Kim. I'm the Chief Executive Director of UrbanTech Global Center. And I'm very happy to participate in this conference. Thank you for inviting me. I'm gonna share a little bit about my organization introduction and what's the Korean smart city trend and future recommendation. Let me share the file. Yeah, the UrbanTech Global Center, we are the organization to helping the globalization for the deep tech startup under the Ministry of Science and ICT of Korea. We deal with the DNA, we call DNA, which is a data network AI related company. And we focusing on the helping that Korean DNA company to be a globalization. So briefly, I just summarize what it done is what it's doing in Korea. We select yearly 100, 200 DNA related company from Korea, and we're helping that. We're providing so many consultation services like legal, patent, accounting, investment, marketing, which is the early stage startup needed. And then after we nurturing the company, we providing the global market opportunity. Especially, we try to sourcing the different type of project from the different type of country about the smart farming, smart city, smart factory related project. And we try to matching with the project with the Korean startup. This is our very simple version of the main activity. And out of that, maybe the GSMA inviting me, the reason is we are working with the different countries' smart city project. And we have about 2,600 startup in our members company, which is related to the data network AI. And so far from 2013 to several months ago, we've been induced, the US dollar $1.5 billion investment from the foreign country, and working with the different country, different tech company to make the project success. We talk about the UrbanTech today, and I just to summarize what's the smart city transformation from the early of the late of the 19th century to the up to now. Actually, the industrial city and the modernist city, and from 1990, everybody talk about sustainable and eco-friendly city, and we have the huge boom of the internet spread out, and then the mobility between the city to city and the nation to nation is amazingly increased. This, from the time the population or intensity of city makes so many urban issues. So from 2000, I think about the smartphone introduced, everybody talk about the smart city with the network infrastructure. That's the kind of trend. And I'm talk about the infrastructure, how infrastructure accelerating city development or urban development. Actually, we have the different phase of the infrastructure installation, from the railroad, electricity, automotive, aviation, and recently internet, data center, 5G or fiber optic. That kind of infrastructure make us smart city accomplished. But what's the next? Everyone talk about the AI or big data. Even I heard about so many things, digital twin or IoT. What's the next smart city? It's not sufficient providing the high broadband network or telecommunication form. The consumer or people need some services from the the AI or data-driven result. So next, I said the infrastructure. I call this is intelligent infrastructure. Example is a PIN. PIN is a public infrastructure network node, which is integrate like edge computing and the broadband, or so many different type of sensor, which can apply to data collection and the data labeling, plus they analyze of the data in the node and providing the result came out, result to the different player. That infrastructure it must have, it should be held in the town, and then we can showing them what the services are really providing the end users or people in living in the town. And then I think this is the next trend of the smart city after high broadband infrastructure. And then we call this is a data-centric smart city, not the the telecommunication-driven smart city, but plus on that, after COVID-19, so many people talk about data AI, and actually reality is the main customer and the user, they need data-centric smart city. So Korea, from several years ago, we try here and there how we configure or how we provide the data-centric infrastructure of the smart city. So actually, data collection from the data infrastructure, so many IoT or sensor devices, and how we labeling and how we providing the analytic services, and at the end, we can provide the very customized and what the customer needed services for tailoring on the each people in the town. So this is a data-centric smart city, and then main concept is three infrastructure. Actually, we try to think about them. This is conceptual, and we try to trial of this project at the small city of the Seoul, nearby the Seoul city in Korea, and try to connect different city to city, how we collaborate or interoperate the data-driven, some services providing. So mainly, the main fundamental infrastructure is kinds of the hardware infrastructure like pins or telecommunication infrastructure, data infrastructure. And the middle layer is a data hub, we call this. So all data from the infrastructure or the end users data, actually service areas data, they should come to the data hub, and they, the labeling and the different type, they transit the different type of, the meaningful data, and then we providing different type of services. So 3-layer infrastructure, data hub, and the service layer. We provided these three type of the different type of layer in this one city, and we providing seamless people's needed services. The final model of this, the data-centric smart city of the Korea is like this. You already mentioned about the so many, the outcome can be applied in the education, healthcare, or mobility, energy, housing, environment, public safety. But a little difference is it's a data-driven. For example, so security is not only the surveillance camera or some alarm system, but also maybe we can utilize a drone to supply the supplement of the security, the different angle, or maybe how we, the monitoring or continue seamless, the prevent, the contaminated water quality is how we utilize this from the sensor on the tap water and analyze and prevent the contaminate or decontaminate the water, the supply. Is that all things, the mainly operating by the data, the collected data from the all different sites. So this is a main final model of the, the Korea, the data-driven smart city outcome. Actually, the Ponte Global is working to different countries, like 35 countries, and we have over 300 partners to helping to to collaborate to participate these kinds of the new type of the smart city or different type of service generating with the existing infrastructure and AI technology. So I think from the we don't have that much collaboration between Russia and Korea, but in terms of the smart city, I suggest we need to overcome like a legacy problem. The legacy problem means typical smart city plan 3 years prior to apply or 5 years prior to apply. At that time, when he designed the smart city, current technology can be evaluated. But after 3 years later, 5 years later, the technology is totally changing. So speed of the changing of the technology is so fast. Not the 10 years long term or 5 years, 1 year or even the half years, they changing a different type of technology. So I recommend not only the Russia, but the Korea government, when we design the urban or the smart city, it should be work with the startup or young technology engineer people to apply for the 10 years, 5 years futuristic technology, which is the end user demand or apply. So I'm trying to emphasize the work together collaboration, not only the big company to big company, but with the startup. It should be included the big type of the smart city project. Then it can be very sustainable and it can be meet what the customer need. So again, thank you for inviting me and thank you for listening.